Hi, I'm Jeanette Sutton,
And I'm Eddie Bertola.
and we welcome you to another episode of the Alerting Authority. As always, we encourage you to subscribe, follow, listen, and most importantly, participate in these podcasts. We want your questions, concerns, ideas, problems, pain points, and your success stories so we, as alerting authorities, can better do our jobs and make our communities safer.
And we want to thank our sponsors. And for this one, again, one of our main sponsors is HQE Systems. They're a disabled veteran-owned company. They specialize in alert origination software and cutting-edge life safety and electronic security solutions. They can help provide solutions to the pain points in your notification process. They have the latest generation of outdoor warning sirens, indoor notifications, and electronic mass notifications. And it's all controlled from one piece of software. Um, and with that said, Jeanette, today we have, I think, it's a group this time. It's not even just one or two um, from an airport, and it just happens to be the busiest airport in the entire world. Guesses on where it is?
Well, we have some pretty busy airports in the United States. I think of Chicago, which I have to go through on every trip that I go through out of Albany, or Dulles,
Huh?
but I'm betting it's not either of those.
It is not, and I would say you have Dallas, San Francisco, um,
LA?
LA, yeah, LAX.
Mhm.
You have others that I think are big and very busy. The one, and if I missed one in your state, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to exclude.
Denver's big
Denver,
and busy.
that's right. And you have all the hubs like Delta's hub, Salt Lake City,
Mhm.
and this other airport that is their hub, which is Atlanta. Um, so today's conversation takes us into one of the most complex public environments, I'd say, anywhere in the world, and that is the Atlanta International Airport. And it's known as ATL for anybody who's flown or, you're clicking on those things as you're trying to book your flight. And as I said, it's not just a major airport in the United States. It's actually the busiest one in the world. They move tens of millions of passengers every year. They support a massive, always on operation. And at any given moment, it's home to, and this is the fun part when you think about all the different stakeholders involved. You have airline employees, staff, contractors, law enforcement, fire, EMS, vendors, people from all over the world, and then people who are picking up, dropping off loved ones, maybe less than loved ones if they're ready for them to go home, whatever it may be. But it's definitely it's a city unto itself because it operates 24/7. I mean, it really just keeps going, and every day there may be similarities, but there are differences. And from an emergency management and communications perspective, ATL represents a uniquely challenging environment because the messages have to be clear, fast, actionable. But then these are the variables, right? Languages, systems, organizations. And you're not necessarily dealing with people on their best day. You're dealing with them traveling. And this isn't a cut, again, to anybody out there who's like, man, I'm always relaxed when I travel. Okay, there are so many times when I'm running to another plane because one is delayed and I don't want to miss a flight. It's not always my best moment, I would say. What's your experience, Jeanette, in airports?
Oh, the last two places that I've lived, I've been near very small airports. Actually, three. Currently near the Albany Airport, where we have three little wings on the airport. It will be growing. It's been under
I've
construction.
frequented that one, and I like the Albany Airport.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great
nice.
little airport. It's super
Mhm.
convenient. It's small. It's nothing like ATL in terms of its size. Even smaller was the Bluegrass Airport in Lexington, Kentucky, which is teeny tiny, but lovely with its bourbon bars and everything inside the airport. But in comparison, I used to fly from Denver all the time because I lived in Colorado. So the conveniences of a little tiny airport, of being able to get through real fast compared to the complexities of a really big airport, It's a little overwhelming to think about, honestly.
Mhm. And again, I mean, it is 24/7, and it's a business. It's a business, I guess, within multiple businesses, because each individual airline and so many different contractors and subcontractors, but everybody has to work in unison as much as possible, because delays, they have a cascading effect, as you've experienced, as I've experienced. And I've been to the Atlanta airport recently, and I know you're planning on going soon again for some fun. And not that you go to the airports for fun. I guess let me change that. But anyway, that's our guest, so I'm pretty excited. We would like to take the time now to kind of introduce everybody who's on the show with us, because this is a bigger team than normal. And we're going to start off with Herschel, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Certainly. Good day, everyone. My name is Herschel Granchett Jr. I'm with Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport's Office of Communications and Media Affairs. Thanks for having us today, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria Kluge. I am the airport manager over the Integrated Operations Center and Data Management for the Division of Emergency Management here at Hartsfield Jackson. Marcus?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Johnson. I am the IOC program manager for the Emergency Management Division. I'm responsible for the radio program, mass notifications, and our mobile command vehicle.
Well, we have a terrific team gathered with us today. I'm really excited to hear from each of you as you talk about the amazing work that is done at the Atlanta airport every day. It is the busiest airport in the world.
Yep.
And we're really, really curious about, from an emergency communication standpoint, which the three of you represent, what does that scale really mean on a day-to-day basis? And how does it change the way you think about alerts and warnings compared to other environments that you may have worked in?
So it's kind of a multifaceted endeavor to do that. So as you see, Marcus and I from emergency management, Herschel over for marketing and communications, we have to have a lot of crossover for doing those. So from the emergency management side, we're dealing again with those mass notifications, particularly for all of our internal stakeholders and interagency coordination for that communications, as well as again we have our 911 center that we run here with emergency management, so that's incorporated into that as well. And I'll let Herschel speak to his side for public communications.
Yeah, certainly. For us, anything that happens here is basically going to affect the entire world. So we know that we have to make sure that our communication is clear and concise. I always like to talk about maximum disclosure with minimum delay. Whatever's going on, I want to make sure everyone knows what's happening and how it's going to affect operations, as well as how the passengers are going to be able to navigate the airport. So we're always constantly updating our messaging.
Have you coined that phrase, by the way? Maximum communication with minimal delay.
Yeah, maximum disclosure, minimum delay. I actually learned that I was in the army, and I was public affairs in the army as well. So that's what they always taught us. So I've just kind of carried it since I left service.
Victoria, you said that there's a 911 call center that's part of the airport. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, and
That's
they do
great.
dispatch. They dispatch for Atlanta PD as well as Atlanta Fire that are stationed here at the airport. So any 911 call that happens on airport property goes to our center directly instead of having to be routed through different areas. Because Atlanta Airport in itself isn't within the city limits as much as the rest of the metro area. So we have other jurisdictions around us like Hapeville, Forest Park, College Park. And so we try to minimize how much routing has to happen for calls so people get the shortest wait time for responding to their emergencies.
It,
And I
it
think that,
sounds,
I'm
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead, Marcus.
And I think that scale also, you think about the 911 center, it could be a call from the FAA tower, or it could be anything next door, College Park, Hateville. So it's a massive scale and a lot of people in between and different levels of government that may be tapped to respond.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Atlanta airport is its own city and county that's providing services to the organizations around you also.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow,
Yep.
Yeah.
I
that's
tell you,
fascinating.
it's other counties and cities, and I know you guys have experience working in many other places too. It's not just, you've done this all your life. but there are pain points that exist as we go through many populations, right? And that's those are words to describe, different parts of our communities that may need to receive messages differently or are different stakeholders. Now, regarding the airport, you're communicating with airline employees, their staff, contractors, travelers, families picking up people, and then people who don't even realize they may be where they're supposed to be or where they're not supposed to be, those that are lost to those that are found, and everybody in between. How do you guys think about the audience first when you're creating messages that have to reach so many different groups at once?
Well, just kind of like what you just said, we consider, those people who don't fly all the time versus the business passengers who are here every week. Think about the families traveling with children. Think about the military. Everybody's messaging is different, but we have to make sure that it's broad enough that it catches everyone at the same time. So that's one of those things we just always just think about the broad picture of who we're going to have to reach, and we just make it as broad as we can, but at the same time, trying to keep it as concise as possible, making sure that we have the who, what, when, where, why, the airline specific stuff, the employee specific stuff. It's a whole lot, a whole lot to consider. But I think we've pretty much got it down to a science in terms of how we put our messaging out.
Yeah, and if I can, the mass
Herschel,
notification. Oh,
could you
sorry.
say a little bit about how you're getting your messages out? I mean, when I travel through the airport, I hear a lot of stuff overhead, but I don't
Right.
think I've ever gotten something on my phone except for from the airline as they say you're getting
Delayed.
ready to board. Like, so how do you reach people?
Well, see, that's because you're not following us on all social media platforms. See,
Okay, well, that's a
so,
tip.
we're at ATL Airport on all social media channels. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on X, formerly Twitter. So yeah, if you make sure you follow us, we have updates all the time. Especially like this past weekend with winter weather, we made sure that before the weather even came in, we were putting out messages letting passengers and stakeholders know, hey, look, weather may be affecting us. So you may want to just make sure you're vigilant and check in before you get to the airport how it's going to be affecting you and your travels or your work plans, etc. So it's important. We've done a lot with social media, so it's become a very important tool for us.
Okay.
Marcus, you had something.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention for the mass notifications, we spend a lot of time on the front end where we develop our groups and different contacts inside that system to where when it's time to send any type of operational update or updates involving like operations that's not going to the public, will make sure that it's going to the appropriate people and not the people that does not need it. Like for example, it could be an aircraft incident, that's a big incident for FAA, but for FBI, it may be something they don't need a notification for. So
Right.
we spend a lot of time on the back end or front end, I'll say, just developing the groups and having processes that's pretty straightforward and make sense.
Mm. Would would the Atlanta airport ever use wireless emergency alerts to reach people inside the
Ooh.
airport?
We look at all different types of ways to communicate with people. I mean, especially like through our website, atl.com, and again, social media. So we're in the process of actually revamping some of the things that we do. Nothing has been set in stone yet, but we're looking at all possible avenues, from virtual assistants to everything. Everything's on the table right now. Technology is becoming pretty much infinite, and we have all that at our fingertips. So we're trying to just see what works best for us. Again, for passengers, for our employees, for our stakeholders, and everyone to just stay as informed as possible.
And the other thing with the wireless emergency alerts that tends to be kind of a pain point for a lot of jurisdictions is having that bleed over. So if we were to send one out here at the airport, it might go out to Hapeville, it might go out to Forest Park, and we're trying to minimize that amount of bleed over to make sure that we're not causing any sort of undue panic or anything with other jurisdictions that don't need to be involved in what's happening.
Mhm. Well, sure, I could think of if you only wanted to alert one terminal,
Right.
it would bleed over to ones that are far away, so that
Right.
would be really challenging to get it narrowly targeted enough to only alert those who needed to take action or be aware.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's where the overhead announcements really come into play. We have a company, a contracted to handle it for us, the Atlanta Airlines Terminal Corporations. They handle all of our announcements and stuff. So, and it can be it can be specific from concourse to concourse, just so that only the people you need to hear certain messaging can go out. So we have ways of triaging all of our messages that way too.
Mhm. Well, I'm very interested in your virtual messenger idea that you were talking about, your virtual assistant. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been talked about. I've been here since 2007. It's been talked about quite a bit. So again, just nothing is set in stone, but at the same time, nothing's off the table. So we're
right.
looking at all ways that we can just keep everyone informed.
Yeah. So many possibilities with technology moving so quickly right now. And that would be very exciting for people to be able to access exactly what they need because you've made it possible for them to get that information. That would be amazing. I'm diverting from the things that we said we were going to talk about, but I'm just loving learning about the how you manage such an amazing organization. Okay. So, um, but Atlanta isn't just one organization because it's airlines, the TSA, concessions. You have the local police, fire, EMS, city partners, state partners. That's a lot of organizations to coordinate. Could you talk about some of the biggest coordination challenges when it comes to emergency communication? And also, what's helped you to make that coordination work better over time? Have you had different lessons learned where you've turned a corner a bit and it made significant improvements?
Well, our EOC is a big help. Our Emergency Operations Center is a big help for doing that kind of coordination. We'll have representatives coming in from different airlines, from PD, our federal partners, all coming in, and it provides a really great space to be able to have that coordination. And it helps out Herschel when he comes into our EOC to be able to come directly to somebody and say, "Hey, we need to put out a message. We need to make sure we're all on the same page."
Right.
And we spent a lot of time on that coordination bit in our EOC, developing those relationships, because relationships is really the key thing here, is knowing the people that you're talking to, who to talk to, and who's going to be able to help you come up with that most cohesive messaging.
Mhm,
Right. Yeah, definitely. We do a lot of tabletop exercises so that we can know exactly how things will go in a real world type of event. And it's like they say, train the way you fight. That's what we'd always say in the military, train the way you fight. And this past weekend with the winter weather that came through Georgia, it was very helpful to have had those exercises. So like Victoria was saying, I know if I need some information on flight delays, we have airline liaisons right there. I can go over there and verify information before we put it out to the media and handle the media inquiry. So it's very, very helpful. I love the way our team works together.
mhm.
And I think also
Is
airports are unique. You think about it's a common interest where we all want to make sure planes can fly. If you're dealing with a county or city emergency management agency, it may be competing interests where one group may have a different outcome versus another. So airport, I think having everyone here, it's a lot of people, where we all have a shared mission, you know?
Mhm. I think that's a really important thing to talk about is having all people here. And you mentioned the EOC, but I know that you're also work distributed in different places across the airport. But so when do you actually bring everybody together physically? Is it only when an event has happened, or are you all meeting together virtually on a daily basis, or how does that work?
We do have periodic. We have a daily call for everybody to be able to get together and
Mhm.
discuss, what's happening, what their needs are. If there's any sort of media that we're going to have on site, Herschel's able to let us know, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So we do make a very big effort to coordinate with that. We also have duty managers that's their sole purpose, is touching base with everybody, and making sure that they are, getting the information, making sure everybody's on the same page, and communicating with each other.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, that
oh,
the
go
call that
ahead.
she's talking about, we have a call every day at 4:30. It's a Teams call every day, and it's literally someone from just about every single business unit within the airport umbrella. And like she said, we're able to just kind of like get a snapshot of what's going on at that moment and what's coming up, so that no one is blindsided, no one's caught flat-footed.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's interesting. We talk about communication. And I think a lot of the call is really about communication and what works and what doesn't. One of the pain points that I know I've experienced as an alerting authority when I worked in California, even where I am now, is language and accessibility. Um, Airports, I mean, if you think about everybody who is either flying in or flying out, it's got to be one of the most diverse public spaces that there is. Um, how do language access or cultural considerations, maybe the accessibility factor into your alerting and communication planning? So I guess there's that part, especially when it comes to like decisions or situations that have to be taken care of quickly.
So we do have federal regulatory obligations when it does come to access and limited English proficiency. The FAA has specific standards that we have to meet, as well as Title VI, to make sure, since we are a government entity here at ATL, that we do have to make sure we're meeting those. We have a great program called I Speak ATL. That we're able to get live translation services for how many languages is it, Herschel? 14?
I think it's at least 14. Yeah.
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 So all the major languages that come through this airport, we
Yeah.
can immediately call them up and say, "Hey, we need live translation services." We actually did a run through with our I Speak ATL folks at our last triennial exercise. It went over great. That we're able to get those live translations. We had some volunteers that spoke different languages that we could really test that out in live time, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, and as far as just making sure employees are aware of the I Speak ATL, we're required through our intranet to go and, for lack of a better word, recertify periodically, just to make sure everyone knows that, number one, I Speak ATL is available, and number two, how to access it and what they can do. From just anyone from someone working in one of our concessionaires all the way to one of our assistant general managers, everyone has the same training so that we can help passengers and stakeholders as needed.
And so is the opportunity or responsibility for I Speak ATL on the employees and people who are at the airport so that if they're in a situation that they would then pull it up, or is it available for people visiting and everybody else to have it available to help them?
So, to my understanding, it's because I have it on my phone, on my work phone, but I don't think it's something that's kind of exclusionary of anyone else. I think anyone who has access to it can pull it up because it's like a toll-free number. So I don't think it's exclusionary to anyone else, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I know for sure that all the airport employees, all 63,000 employees, have access to it. And so just in case we run into someone, international traveler, we can make sure that they're assisted properly.
Did you say 63,000? I just want to make sure that's not
63,000.
Yeah.
okay. You better make sure to get
63,000.
everybody's birthday too. Don't forget. Okay.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people think that the airport is just one employer. Well, you work for the airport, so this happened. Well, no, 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 I don't work for the airline. So that encompasses everybody. That's
Mhm.
from cargo companies to airlines to concessionaires to maintenance companies to cleaning companies. That's everyone's part of that 63,000.
Wow. What a tremendous effort it is that y'all take on every day. And
Did
thank
you
you
just say
for
y'all?
helping us to I
Good
did.
job. For everybody listening, she is going country.
All
Look,
right,
it's
Y'all.
it's the
I love it.
Atlanta coming
that's
out.
right.
Yes.
Welcome to Atlanta.
You forget, Eddie, that I lived in Kentucky for 6 years before
Uh,
moving to
Oh,
upstate New York,
I do it.
That's
and
true.
oh, okay. Okay.
that's where I learned that one person is a y'all, 2 is y'all, and 3 is all
Y'all.
y'all.
All y'all.
So
Yep.
you can have plural and you can have singular, and it is yes, it's a Southern thing.
And
Yeah,
it's
our
very
next
inclusive.
lesson, our next lesson is going to be, we're going to tell you where over yonder is. That'll be our next lesson.
Over yonder.
That's funny.
So let's look back a little bit to you've spent some time working in ATL and different positions and learned so much in your careers as emergency managers and public communicators. Can you tell us what have been some of the toughest moments or biggest pain points related to emergency communications at the airport? Something that really tested your system, your procedures, or your assumptions? Like, can you identify like some real good examples that we can kind of zero in on?
Well, for me, we had an accidental discharge. I want to say it was probably about 4 years ago, and we wound up with a lot of people dispersing, of course, from domestic terminal. And the biggest challenge was working with all the airport stakeholders, TSA, APD, and everyone, making sure that the airport was ready to receive everyone when we brought everyone back in, because there were definitely some challenges. Because of course everyone went into life safety mode, so of course the TSA had left the checkpoint, and we had leadership who wanted to bring the passengers back inside them again, processing again, but we had to make sure the TSA was in place, and at the time they were not. So there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of coordination that had to happen to make sure that we were ready to receive all the passengers before we just opened the doors and let everyone in, so it wouldn't be so chaotic. But that was my biggest challenge since I've been here, was the day we had that accidental discharge. I want to say it was November of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while, but I do remember it definitely. It was that was a big challenge that day.
I bet I can imagine the traffic backed up beyond outside of the airport of people trying to come in and not knowing what's going on. And if they're not tuned into the right channels,
Right.
they're not going to figure it out. They're just stuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it was quite a day.
Victoria, do you have a pain point that you remember?
Um, it's less from a public communications standpoint and more from again getting everybody in the room, which I think is a common problem for everywhere. And sometimes things are delayed, especially when we have, an emergency pop up. Can't really talk too many specifics, but
Right.
when we're trying to get somebody in the room and they're like, I'm 20 minutes away and I don't know when I'm going to get there. I'm like, we need your
Mm.
information. So that's something that we're working towards with this integrated operations center to be able to sort of alleviate that problem by having all those representatives kind of perpetually in the room,
Mm.
and making sure that that coordination is constantly flowing versus having to call somebody in from the other side of the property.
That sounds
Yeah.
exciting to have a place where everyone can be co-located like that. Is Atlanta Airport the first one to have that model?
Actually, San Francisco beat us to it. They just launched theirs, I think about a week ago.
Oh.
But it's a running initiative for a lot of airports to start doing that. To especially a lot of other airports do also have the 911 centers, like we do. So, being able to kind of take some of that burden off of the public safety folks and being able to have that constant coordination. So it's an emerging concept for aviation that
Oh.
so far has been very good.
Been a godsend, definitely. I
Yeah.
can't see it doing it any other way now. It's been so great to have it the way we have it now. So
That sounds
Well, and I'm sure
amazing.
there are eyes on Atlanta, right? As you guys are doing it, I mean, other people are watching. Because if it can work in Atlanta, I mean, then obviously, it should be able to work in other places that are less busy, which let me see, is every single airport in the entire world, less busy than you guys. Uh,
Dubai's sneaking up on us.
Oh
Dubai's
really?
my.
sneaking up on us.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chicago's nipping at our heels too. So
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, we'll see
well,
what happens, but you guys have retained it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's interesting as we talk about pressures. I mean, I think there's an inherent pressure that's on everybody who's a passenger. And I have frequented airports, not as much as you guys, but quite a bit. And it's a dynamic population. You bet they're transitory. They're but it's still a heightened sense. And I've heard someone compare it to like Disneyland. And I said, well, I don't know if it's exactly the same. I mean, I'm spending, $6 on a churro in Disneyland. Airport food is similar expensive, but there's still just a different feeling because you don't have that goal to stay at the airport for a long time, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
you have people that are already just kind of frazzled when they're at an
Right.
airport. And so I'm
Right.
sure that goes into your thoughts with communicating and trying to, again, I love, and you can coin it back to the military, right? But for that maximum, right, that you're trying to get as much information out. But
Right.
is that one of your considerations too? Kind of the state of the travelers?
Well, definitely. I mean, and ironically, a lot of our theories that we use for queuing passengers, they do actually come from the Disney Corporation. So it's ironic that you said that. But yeah, you have to be mindful of what's going on when someone comes up to you and they're like, for example, a lady was looking for the bathroom one day and she had a daughter on her shoulder, and I guess the daughter really had to go, and the bathroom was like 6 feet away from us. This is right there, man. And she starts screaming, "Why does everyone keep pointing? Where's the bathroom?" And so I literally had to like almost take her by the hand and walk her to the bathroom because she was in such a state. So you had to be mindful that people are probably been up for hours at that time. They haven't eaten. The children are used to certain sleep patterns, and you've had to wake them up, and they're fussy, and somebody forgot something, and somebody doesn't have their ID, and it's just you got to think about the whole process, everything that led up to that moment. So when you're doing your messaging, you have to, and when you're interacting, especially face to face, you have to be mindful of that and kind of temper your tone and your messaging and be as concise as possible without using any kind of jargon. And it's a whole lot of things you have to think about. But anyone who's been here a while, you learn to kind of tailor it to whoever you're dealing with.
And that I actually my original background is in theme parks, doing emergency communications. So it's I find that there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of similarities in both just kind of operationally speaking, as well as that communication standpoint. Because yeah, you're spending more time at the theme park, but you're still in that similar mindset. You're not where you normally are. You're not at
Right.
home. You're not you might have never been to this place before, and you're trying
Mhm.
to navigate through all of these crowds. I mean, if you think about a passenger throughput at an airport versus the 60,000 people at a theme park in a day, you're it's that same kind of mentality where you're trying to navigate, but you're trying to also enjoy your travel. So it can it you gotta really think these are not just people walking through your airport, they're customers. So we
Yeah,
still have to treat them with that same level of customer
exactly.
service that you would at a theme park where they're paying, $150 to get in.
Mm.
No, I tell
Yeah.
you, well, I have a similar background in theme parks, just so you know, but mine is in attending and enjoying versus working. But I have experienced being in those queues, and I appreciate, as Herschel said, like all that the science that goes into the way that those queues are, which goes into, or I think, our next thing of just any lessons learned. If there's an experience where communication went really well, and again, I've been to Atlanta when you're looking up because you're trying to catch the train underneath, and the signs, things are pretty clear. But have there been any times when something didn't work necessarily as intended, but has turned out to be a really good like lesson that has helped any meaningful changes to take place? Any situations like that?
Oh. Hmm. Well, honestly, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I honestly think that we do very well. I think the biggest thing for us is being proactive. Like I mentioned earlier, with the weather, we have weather calls a week and a half in advance of any type of inclement weather, and so we know to tailor our messaging, just to let people know in general, okay, look, this may happen. So because this may happen, you may want to be here a little earlier. You may want to call your airline first. You may want to pack this, pack that. So I think the fact that we are so proactive and the fact that we almost over plan, I think that really helps us with our messaging. And to date, I mean, going back to some incidents in the past, I can think of ways we could have done better, but I'm just thinking of like the way we have it structured now. I think we're really good at being proactive. So we have our passengers and our stakeholders very well prepared for anything that may happen.
And from an internal standpoint as well, we're looking at a lot of new technologies, new digital ways to communicate. um, you know uh, since I'm over data, we're really looking at how to implement communicating out executive level decisions and operational postures as quickly as we possibly can.
Right.
Using dashboards and other means that I can communicate with our COO from across the property and immediately get them our operational posture without them having to even ask for it.
Right.
So having that kind of collaboration has been super helpful with all of these upcoming ways to process this kind of information.
Yeah. And we have leadership that's very, very involved,
Yes,
extremely involved.
yes, they are.
Our general manager was in the operations group chat the other day. I didn't realize he was on there. I was like, oh wow, okay. So he's paying attention to everything. So it's important that we make sure that he looks good so we can all look good.
And I think our after action process is something also we can speak
Yeah,
on.
for sure.
Any type of incident, whether small or big, if it's something that's an operational impact or even something that may have some PR issues, something like that, we always get together with after actions immediately after and have a process to improve pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's great. So I wanted to ask, because you're talking about having messages that are pre-planned and really communicating to people so they understand what weather might be coming their way, and giving themselves additional time and that kind of thing. Sometimes I get asked, can do we communicate too much? Are we over communicating? Like, do you even see your messaging that's going out on social media as over communicating, or is there a sweet spot, or is it like, no, the more we put out there, the better? Like, how do you kind of balance all that?
I feel like if it's for you, you're gonna be able to extrapolate whatever it is. I mean, so I believe if we just keep it general, if it doesn't apply to you, you're gonna keep scrolling. But I'd rather have an over-informed passenger than an under-informed passenger. I don't want anyone to ever say, "Well, why didn't they ever tell us?" I mean, everything from not weather, but traffic that's going on around the airport. We have a lot of construction projects going on outside of the airport that may affect your travel to the airport. So we even make sure we put information out about that. I mean, we don't know which direction you're coming from, but just in case you're coming down Camp Creek Parkway, you might want to know that there's some construction going on. So we just feel like if we put everything out there that could possibly be needed, if it's important to you, you'll be able to get it out for yourself. And if not, you just move on to the next message that's for you.
Mm.
That's the
And
way I look at it.
do you have kind of a cadence, like every hour you're putting something out, or whenever something pops up, it goes up on your social?
So when we're actually actively inside of some event, for example, again, like this past weekend with the weather, we tried to every 3 to 4 hours we'll try to change up the messaging if anything changes, or if nothing has changed, we'll just still put out the same message and just let everyone know to continue to monitor everything that may involve your travel. Just make sure that you're aware of what's happening and just plan accordingly.
So, the lessons learned are always really important for thinking about how we can make a real difference, and the new opportunities that might come up. And you already talked a little bit about some of the things that might happen in the future because technology is changing and growing. But where do you think you're seeing the greatest opportunities today to improve airport alerting communications? And it might be policy or training or partnerships or even message design. And there might be small changes that can make a big impact, but what are the greatest opportunities that are in front of you?
Well, that's probably a better question for our chief technology officer, Mr. Chris Christ. He's that guy. He's amazing. He he
Yes.
knows so much. But he's actually he has a presentation that he does about some of the possibilities that are available for us. So I would certainly recommend maybe reaching back out and see if we could get him on with you to just talk about that because he definitely is subject matter expert. But he's mentioned several things just from from enhancing what we already have to incorporating AI to some other things. So, but he definitely could speak more on that than I can.
Yeah.
And if I can speak towards just some of the operational communication, like radio, some of the things we are looking at is adding satellite radios, for example. We have, of course, our operation units, they can't communicate via cell phone, email, but of course, having a redundant system, even with your radios, is important. Something that, your radio infrastructure could be impacted. A satellite that can communicate with a radio is something that can be a pretty good backup, a solid redundant backup.
It's great.
I like it all. Now, obviously, not everybody is as big and busy as you guys, right? But still, um, I like looking ahead, and I also like trying to provide maybe counsel or advice to other airports that are going through similar things that maybe you guys have already been through in your past. And even outside of airports, I mean, as Jeanette said, I mean, you guys are a city or a county in and of yourself because of all the different stakeholders that you have. Um, so as you look at the way things are either evolving or lessons that you've learned, kind of what we've talked about, um, what would you want other airports, again, big or small, to take away as some of the key things that you guys have worked through or that you've accomplished, um, just to kind of help them out?
Definitely collaborate. Make sure that you just get all of your stakeholders together and just collaborate and see how you can all help each other and help each other help the traveling public. I mentioned our exercises that we do; they've been they've been invaluable. Just being able to know who to reach out to for what, and who you can rely on for what information, and just when things do actually hit the fan, as they say, you're not flat-footed. You know exactly who to talk to, exactly who to deal with, exactly who can give you information on what. So I would just say collaborate as much as possible, do as many exercises as you can. The National Incident Management System has all kind of training that's available that you can use as a blueprint. So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. If you train, your day may come. So if you're training, you're ready for that day when it does come.
And I would say don't shy away from innovation.
Yeah,
Even a small airport has the capacity to innovate in some way.
yeah.
And that's one of our main goals here as at ATL is innovation and leading that standard. So never shy away from it. There's always opportunities, big and small, to make those little changes that might impact the rest of aviation. Just one small airport doesn't have to say, oh, well, what we do doesn't, stand up to all these larger airports. No, you might come up with something that works for your operation that the rest of us can make as an industry standard. So that's my piece.
And I think you hear about the whole community approach in emergency management, and I think it really speaks volumes here at the airport because you have the whole community here at one time. So just making sure you involve people and collaborate, I think it'll be a good idea.
No, I love it. I had one other thought. So I've been to Atlanta Airport actually quite a few times. What is your favorite place to eat? If you had to go, because we have people that are, and this does not mean that other places are not good. I'm not saying you have to say this is one and you skip everything else. But is there like a favorite dining little secret that you want to just throw out there?
Mm.
There's a
Totally putting you on
kolache
the spot.
place.
There's a
There's
hibachi
a
place?
No, it's a
Oh,
kolache. Yeah, it's over
Yes.
on Concourse E. That thing is so good. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the only one there.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it either, but yeah, I never heard of a kolache till about a year ago. But just
what is
like
it?
take a donut and a pie and put it together, and it's like,
Yeah, they're,
Oh.
they're, they're like little hand pie pastries, and they
yeah,
have both dessert and savory.
and
So good.
savory. Yeah, it's
Oh.
nah.
Concord
That
C.
sounds pretty good.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Marcus, anything?
So I don't have too many places inside the airport. But if you're ever outside the airport, let me know. I definitely got some recommendations.
No, one of my favorite things is the first time I had to get a rental car after going to Atlanta, and I was used to smaller airports, and again, This is not a small airport. And I remember someone said, "Well, you just have to take, the SkyTram or the
SkyTrain. Yeah.
Skytrain.
SkyTrain to go." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay." And then we went and we kept going and going and going. And I'm like, "All right, this thing has some distance to it." But once I got there, it
Yep.
was really nice. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, you guys do it at Atlanta.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been really great chatting with all three of you. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing your insights about how ATL works, and you keep everybody informed. And now I know that I need to follow you on social media, and I will make sure to do that before I
Okay.
travel to Atlanta in March to visit the great city in Georgia.
Mhm.
Awesome. We look forward
And
to it. Yeah.
with the magic of
At
how this
ATL
works,
Airport and ATL.com. Yeah.
that's what
Yep.
I was gonna say. With the magic of all this, if you say it, we can get it down at the bottom of the screen. So,
Okay.
you know, we'll get
Yes.
those on
Yeah.
there for people.
Yeah.
And just again, thank you, and I think it really helps because there is this often, I think, a misunderstanding that if you're working in emergency management as a PIO or as a first responder or all these different other stakeholders at an airport, that it doesn't apply outside. When in reality, a lot of the lessons are exactly the same. And I would say, however, some of your challenges are amplified just because of all those extra variables that exist. Uh, so yeah, kudos to you guys. And since you threw out San Francisco, I mean, we'll have to throw the gauntlet and see if they want to come on and they can talk about some of their things and we can kind of keep going. But just thank you very much.
That was such an interesting conversation with our guests from ATL today. I had not really thought about the complexities of an organization with so many other organizations inside of it. And I was most drawn towards the idea of the way that they're going to be co-locating all of the different operators in one place that will really allow them to have that seamless communication, which must be just incredibly challenging when they have so many different partners and businesses that are working together 24 hours a day. What were the things that stood out to you?
I 100% agree with you. That the collaboration, that piece, I mean, it's something you think about, but they're actually doing it. They're taking that action. And I would just, I think about outside of the airport, what that would be like if we could do that and have the daily check-ins or whenever it would be, how much more effective potentially we could be because there isn't going to be that gap in communication or other things because they are going to be centrally or really outside, but located together to address things as they come up. And um, I think it's a great idea, and I can't wait to hear back as more time happens to hear how it's going for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it was really such an interesting conversation, that we haven't had that kind before on the Alerting Authority. Um, but as we were listening, they've learned a lot from their experiences and they've become quite successful. And we want to help other alerting authorities to become successful, more successful. And we can do that by helping to provide training, message audits and template reviews, assisting with policy, all through the Alerting Authority. And if you haven't been listening lately, I want to make sure that you know that we have a warning boot camp coming up in March. And so please look up thewarnroom.com to get that information about the boot camp that's coming up. 5 days, 2 hours a day in a virtual environment. By the end of those 5 days, you will have made some really significant decisions about how your messages are going to be structured so they're consistent, and you will have written your critical messages so that you are prepared when you need to issue an alert. And I'm really excited about our first cohort. We have a few spots left, so please reach out.
Yeah, so they can take it off their to-do list and just get it
Absolutely.
done. And I'm sure in your experience, when we're out teaching, it's the desire is there. but still getting people to actually go through that process. It takes time. So great
It does.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for listening. For any of those airports who were listening, you're like, well, we want to tell our story too. We're here for that. So please, feel free to reach out and let us know, so we can help understand the way things are going in your jurisdiction, community, and organization. The Alerting Authority truly believes that every second has a story, and we want to be here to share yours. So thank you for listening, and until next time.